completely shocked by, but Henry was a lot of things, but maybe not the best father.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
that time that he tried to kill actually both of his sons. That time.
Did he win?
No, he tried to.
Oh, well, you know.
Not the best father.
Just another day in the castle.
Yeah.
He threatened Tuesday afternoon.
He was about to kill Francis, but, yeah.
I thought that when I became king that it would become, that I would have the same sort of power that it looked like my father had, where he just sort of went around cutting people's heads off, and I thought, I can do that now, I can just cut everyone's head off. But turns out that there are people that are very powerful, who are behind the scenes, who rear their ugly heads and try and control me. Tell me that I can't do what I want.
Not as easy as it looks.
Not as easy as it looks.
So I know that you started filming season 2 already. How was it getting back to set? Did you guys have any kind of reunion rituals or anything like that?
It felt like we never left.
Yeah, we just sort of got right back
We
into
had 2 months off, and it did. We've got exactly the same cast and crew coming back, apart from a few new faces, so it's really nice.
Yeah, which is unusual. It's unusual to have like all the same crew, and it's just coming back to the same people.
Yeah, it does feel
We're
like.
all working very hard. We have a fantastic crew, I have to say. It's really a pleasure and a great cast. We have a lot of fun. I may seem like I'm trying to kill her, but I actually have a lot of fun with her.
We actually like each other in real life.
Laurie, so what can you tell us about season 2 so far? You know, we're dying to hear anything.
Well, you know, the darkness was killed, and, you know, the plague is coming, and it's going to land at the castle with a vengeance, and it'll change the dynamics of court, it'll change the dynamics of this particular region of France. Not everyone will survive it, among our people, as well as, you know, a percentage of the regional population will die. As I mentioned, we have new power players coming to court, new romantic intrigue. We'll be meeting other members of the Valois Medici family. Will be joining us this year. So,
Really? Tell us more.
So you said that not everybody's going to make it out alive. Have you decided yet who's going to be felled by the plague? Is there time for us to vote?
Everyone dies. That's the plot twist for season 2. We all die at the plague.
In episode 2.
Episode 3, we're dead. Sorry.
you know, we've actually finished filming the first episode, so, you know, I think we all know who's died of the plague, but you'll have to tune in to the first episode to see.
I'm just gonna have to watch it, guys. Sorry.
I think we'd be watching anyway. So with the plague, kind of the predominant theme of this season, will that change the show we're used to seeing? It's going to be hard to imagine having big parties, sexual lumineers when people are dying.
Well, the plague is going to pass.
Okay.
And you know, and really, what the season is about is what kind of rises from the ashes of the plague, because you know it'll be followed by a famine, just to make things
So more
superior.
fun. More fun for the castle.
It really is. It's just about you know, inheriting a nation that is in fact burning, and because Mary and Francis are doing their best as young rulers to rule a nation that should be in their control, but is actually out of their control.
So you mentioned that the plague will pass quickly. I know that the show has played with time.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we spend quite a lot of time on an event, and sometimes it feels like time passes very quickly.
Yeah.
How will this season
deal with that? We're finding it as we go. I think season 2, the time clock of the world that our people live in is going to slow down a little bit. I was eager to get Mary and Francis on the throne. I felt like, I always want the show to move forward. I always want them to meet new challenges, and it felt like there's no greater challenge than being the king and the queen of the nation. And so, it feels a little bit, forgive the phrase, organic, but I think it's, the show's kind of speaking to us now, this incredible team of writers, and we're finding, that there's so many stories to tell kind of in the in-between chapters of the first year of marriage and the first year of a rule.
So will her focus be split between, at this point, 3 different countries, right? England, Scotland, and France.
I mean, she's in a really tricky position where she is the queen of 2 different countries and does want to do her best by both of them and be a good wife, which I think is going to be kind of tricky considering husband slept with one of her best friends and got her pregnant, which is always awkward. I don't know about you guys, but I would be uncomfortable with that. And, you know, sort of in the wake of the plague, and him pairing off to be with her best friend instead of staying with her to help deal with a nation racked with plague.
I'm an impulsive guy.
I mean, yeah, clearly. But I'm really interested to see her trying to wrest power away from Queen Catherine now that she's also the Queen of France. I think that's going to be really interesting, and I know that we're going to have some Protestant Catholic political tension coming up in future episodes. So there's a lot to deal with in this particular season. Not only being Queen of Scotland, being Queen of France, being a good wife, resisting the urge to kill her best friend and her child.
Being a good friend too, being
Trying to
protective of your ladies.
Trying to rise above it.
Yeah.
Trying to rise above all of it and do the right thing and still manage to keep the land from devouring itself in the wake of the plague.
So the Catherine-Mary dynamic was absolutely one of my favorites. I think that kind of the tension and then sometimes the way that you would all of a sudden be on the same side, but maybe only for like 10 minutes, was really fun. What will the dynamic be like this season, given that now everybody should have France's and Frances's best interests at heart?
Well, I'm not sure exactly where we're going to go, but I think so far, even relating back to what we just talked about, Mary now actually has something more in common with Catherine than she did before, because of course I know what it's like to have a husband who has a bastard child. So Mary is now being introduced into another dynamic of the reality of the difference between men and women in power in this time, and the rules are not the same for the genders. So I think that's something in a way that actually will, for me, I feel gives me somewhat of an empathy for her. But again, because it's not, there isn't enough always power to go around, there's always that struggle to maintain it. Yeah, and I'm very still protective of my sons and my children.
But all your sons, not just Francis. I think for the entire Belvoir line, you know, that's Catherine.
Many children.
Yeah,
because that's I know how I'm going to live through my sons and their heirs, and that's the dynamic that Mary is now facing. So. It would make a really interesting dinner table conversation. Can you just imagine?
So
have you had an heir yet? No? Where's the heir?
Are you pregnant yet? No?
Okay.
What are you doing here?
Well, since you brought it up, people are very interested in Mary's fertility. That seems to be a big question out there. Will we find out?
You know, people in her century were very interested in her fertility as well, and you know,
Everyone's interested in my ovaries. I don't know what to tell you.
There's much gossip and speculation, and I think, you know, it's an important thing in a marriage. It's an important thing that to marry, because it makes her not just you know, a benefit to French court, but really it's what makes her at the moment a better option for England than Elizabeth, who is married and childless. So
There's pressure to produce heirs for not only France but also Scotland, and then potential heirs for England should Elizabeth fail to be a good queen, or if she decides to, you know, try and take over. Which she did, and then ended up beheaded.
plus there's the baby in the castle, and you know, and
Which
her
is very
husband is father. So I think that adds a little pressure as well.
Yeah.
So, is there a chance for a furry baby in our future?
You know, there's a chance for anything.
Never say never.
I mean, they're certainly going to try and make it happen.
Oh God.
It's not
Yeah,
for
we've
lack
got to
of, it's
fly
not for
back.
lack of trying.
We've got to fly back tomorrow to try and make it happen. Actually.
We're going to have pretend sex on Saturdays. It's going to be really awkward. 50 odd people on set. Yeah, it looks nice on TV. It's really strange in real life. Yeah, it's really odd.
So, not to get into the details,
No, it's
but here I go. When you get your costume in the morning, and the costume that they give you, rather than a hanger with loads of stuff, they're just like that. And it's like a drawstring beige bag that you would put marbles in when you were a kid. I think calling my mum and being like, "Mum, Yeah, I've made it. I've got the bag. I've made it.
Well, Rain definitely had some racy moments last season. Should we be expecting more of those? Is that what we're hearing here?
Yeah, you should. I think that,
Always.
because sexuality is a huge part of everyone's life. It's a big factor in heritage. I think sexuality in this day and age, also because there is such inequity between men and women, it's also very much about power. You'll see plenty of it, believe me.
That's a promise, right?
Oh, it's a promise. Yeah.
So one of the big questions about the show, when you're telling the story of Mary Queen of Scots, is how bound to history you are. Sorry, Toby,